The ocean was calm that evening, glimmering under the setting sun. Elijah Reed had taken his small, worn fishing boat out to catch dinner for himself and his daughter. The air was salty, peaceful, until he heard the splash. A loud, sharp cry followed by a panicked scream for help. He turned instantly, scanning the water, and there she was, struggling, flailing, barely keeping her head above the waves. Without thinking, he jumped in. He pulled her onto his boat, coughing and shivering. Her dress was heavy, soaked, and clung tightly to her swollen stomach. She was pregnant. And terrified. Tears streamed down her face as she gasped, "He tried to kill me, the father of my baby. He threw me off the yacht." Elijah didn't ask questions. Not yet. He wrapped her in an old blanket and gave her water. He started the boat and headed back to shore. All he could think about was his own daughter, Lily, asleep back at home, and how scared this woman looked. She didn't say much more. Her name was Aria. She was 7 months pregnant. And she was running from a man with far too much power. Back at his small home, Elijah cleared out his bedroom for Aria, sleeping on the couch without complaint. He didn't have much, just 2 bedrooms, a tiny kitchen, and a bathroom that always leaked, but it was warm, and it was safe. Lily took to Aria quickly, fascinated by her belly and asking if the baby inside could hear her stories. Aria smiled weakly. It was the first time she'd smiled in days. Over time, Elijah learned her story. Aria had once been a personal assistant to a powerful CEO named Marcus Hale. He was charming in public but cruel in private. She had fallen for him, he made her feel seen. But when she got pregnant, everything changed. He told her to get rid of it. When she refused, he became violent, paranoid that she would ruin his reputation and cost him his empire. That night on the yacht, she confronted him, asking for support. Instead, he shoved her overboard. Elijah was furious. But he also knew that Marcus had lawyers, money, and influence. Aria was just another problem he wanted erased. They couldn't go to the police without proof, and they had none. So Elijah did what he could. He protected her. He helped her attend doctor visits under a fake name, worked extra shifts to buy baby supplies, and made sure no one knew where she was. Still, the fear lingered. Every time a strange car passed by the house, Aria flinched. Every time Elijah came home late, she worried he'd been found. Elijah, too, felt the weight. He had lost his wife 2 years ago in a car accident. Raising Lily alone was already hard enough. Money was tight. He sometimes skipped meals to make sure Lily had hers. Taking in Aria and her unborn child was a risk, but one he'd take again and again. Then one cold morning, it happened. Aria went into labor. The roads were icy, the hospital was 30 minutes away, and the baby wasn't waiting. Elijah called 911, but the ambulance was delayed. So he stayed by her side, holding her hand as she screamed in pain, guiding her with gentle words and tears in his eyes. When the baby finally came, a beautiful baby girl, Elijah wrapped her in towels and cried with joy and relief. Aria named the baby Hope. After that night, everything changed. Aria stayed. She began to heal, not just physically, but emotionally. She started helping around the house, cooking, cleaning, and even watching Lily while Elijah worked. The girls became inseparable. It was like the missing pieces of their broken hearts were beginning to fit together. Then came the day that Marcus Hale was arrested, not because of Aria, but because of a separate investigation into fraud and abuse. His secrets finally caught up with him. Aria felt a weight lift from her chest. She could finally breathe. With his influence gone, Aria decided to speak out. She testified against him, joining other victims who found the courage to come forward. Her story made headlines. A woman who was thrown away came back stronger and not alone. People reached out: lawyers, foundations, women's rights groups. One offered her a job. Another helped her publish her story. Soon, she was being interviewed, standing on her own feet again. Through it all, Elijah stood beside her. Not because he had to, but because he couldn't imagine life without her or Hope. One night, under the same stars that had once watched her fall into the sea, Elijah asked her to stay for good, not just in his home, but in his life. She said yes. And Lily, now big sister to baby Hope, cheered the loudest. Elijah, once a struggling single dad just trying to survive, found a new purpose. His small house was still the same, but now, it echoed with laughter, love, and second chances. Moral of the story: sometimes the ones who are tossed aside become the very people who bring light into your darkest days. One act of courage, one moment of compassion, can create a ripple that saves lives, heals hearts, and builds a new kind of family, one built on choice, not blood.